Hi and welcome to Ali Lives Well on Less. I'm Ali, an early retired teacher, currently living well on my small teacher's pension. And you may be able to hear Miss Luna. She wanted outside, so she's now barking at fresh air out on the deck. So we'll see how far we get on this lovely Foodie Friday video. So I am filming this part of the video on Thursday the 30th lunchtime. So I have one meal left in my week-long sharing with you what I ate in a week on my no shopping, low spend, loose change challenge October. Now, if you haven't seen any of my other Foodie Friday videos this month, I challenged myself not to use my usual £120 supermarket budget so I could save it, because obviously it's coming up to Christmas, so all that extra cash will come in handy. So I challenged myself to only eat out of the fridge, my two freezers and my store cupboard for the whole month of October, and only top up essential fresh items using loose change, which I think was £11 something. I'll put it up on the screen. And after last week's third week challenge, I had 77 pence left. So not much can get for 77 pence. I thought, right, well, that'll be me until the end of the month. But I happened to go to Morrison's for something else to do with my Christmas videos. And I found 20 pence in my garden at the front. So that took me up to 97 pence. And I've got a little tub that has 1p and 2p's. So I took 3p out of there. So I had £1 to buy a pack of the Morrison's Savers bacon, you know, the bits that are the ends of bits. So I think someone asked me many videos ago if you always get rashers in the Morrison's pack of Savers bacon for £1. 500 grams for £1, by the way. Really good value. And yes, you do mostly get rashers. So I'm a huge fan of the Morrison's Savers bacon now. So I spent my last pound on a pack of bacon. I've used it in a couple of the meals that you're about to see. I've split it into portions and they are in the freezer, so they will get used in the coming months as well. So you are about to see a week's worth of meals just using up what was already in my kitchen, with one or two bits and bobs that I have bought over the month. Like I think I bought peppers and eggs and obviously a pack of bacon and so on. So if you've been following along, you'll know that I bought a few items. So I'll be honest and say this week has been really challenging to eat food that is balanced. And I'm completely out of fresh fruit and vegetables now. So I've been snacking on dried fruit and nuts and an occasional slice of my homemade sourdough bread. I think the only veggies I have left in my freezer now is cauliflower and some green beans. And I've still got some fresh onions. But apart from that, I am out of fresh fruit and vegetables. And that is the biggest challenge if you're doing something like this. So you need to be really careful about making sure you've got tinned fruit and veg and plenty of stuff in your freezers. So have a look at the week's meals and I'll see you again at the end of the video. So this is Friday's very decadent bacon butty sandwich for my brunch, and I have just used some of the medallions of the bacon. I've pinched 2 slices out of my son's 50-50 loaf from the freezer. I'm just going to pop some sliced tomato on top, and then, controversially, I'm going to add some piccalilli. My son and daughter-in-law were in London and they went to Harrods and they brought me back piccalilli. So, bacon butty, yum. So this is my main meal of the day on Friday, so fish on a Friday. I've got some air fried salmon fillet. It's the last one out of the freezer. some leftover basmati rice from my son's tea last night. What else have we got? Green beans and carrot ribbons. Green beans and spinach were out of the freezer. The carrot was a sad carrot lurking at the bottom of the fridge. I've just put it in ribbons and quickly boiled them and then dressed them in homemade garlic butter. And that is fish on a Friday. So this is Saturday's breakfast brunch. It's just porridge made with half a cup of oats and water. I threw in a handful of raisins as I had some left over from my mincemeat, which you will no doubt see at some point. I've got a handful of nuts, I've just roughly crushed them, a spoonful of sesame seeds, a spoonful or tablespoonful of chia seeds, and the end of a jar of honey, and I'm just going to stir it all together, and that is breakfast brunch. So today's main meal of the day is a simple vegetable risotto with onion, peppers and green beans. I've cooked off some bacon on the side and I've just crumbled that up and I'm going to stir it through in a minute. I don't have any cheese left at the moment, but I have stirred through some nutritional yeast just to give it that slightly cheesy, nutty flavour. And there's plenty of leftovers for tomorrow in the pan. Vegetable risotto with bacon on the side. Yum. This is Sunday morning's breakfast. 2 knockoff Weetabix from Waitrose. Some prunes chopped up. I think it's about 5 prunes. I just chopped them into little pieces. My half tablespoon of chia seeds, teaspoon of sesame seeds, a handful of chopped nuts, and literally the scraping from the bottom of the jar of honey. I'll just put a splash of milk in there and I am going to stir it all together. And that's Sunday morning's breakfast. Sunday's main meal of the day is yesterday's leftover risotto, reheated. And I found tucked away in the corner of the freezer some cooked chicken breast. I think it was the last of the Marks and Spencer's chicken that I bought that time I went to Braehead and bought all the chicken and the salmon. So it's just a very simple chicken risotto. And I did make sure that the rice was absolutely piping hot. When you reheat rice, you have to make sure it's piping hot. Absolutely delicious. Monday morning brunch, I'm having some tatty scones, a tomato, an egg that got stuck in the pan because I was trying to do it with a teeny tiny bit of oil, and half a portion of baked beans because I want to use the other bit for my main meal later today. So yeah, here's my breakfast brunch with 1.5 portions of veg. Although, if I added a big spoonful of piccalilli, would that give me another portion of veg? It is full of veggies after all. So Monday's main meal of the day is a Kelly pie that was found in the freezer. I was going to make cauliflower mash, but can't be bothered. I'm just going to have the cauliflower as it is. Some green beans and the other half portion of the beans from this morning. So steak pie with 2.5 portions of veg. Yummy, yummy. So this is Tuesday morning's breakfast. We're up a bit earlier today. It's just simple porridge made with water, and I've sprinkled chia seeds and sesame seeds on top with a nice big spoonful of my mum's homemade raspberry and blackcurrant jelly. Delicious. So Tuesday's lunch is a tuna crunch sandwich. That was my last tin of tuna out the cupboard. I just drained it, chopped up half an onion and half a yellow pepper really finely and mixed it with a little bit of apple cider vinegar and mayonnaise. And I baked a sourdough loaf this morning. I've started using a 5th wholemeal flour. So 400 grams of white bread flour and 100 grams of wholemeal bread flour. And it still keeps it soft and light and there's a little bit of extra goodness in there. Ideally, I would have chopped up a tomato and put it through as well, but I'm out of fresh tomatoes, so a very simple tuna sandwich for lunch today. It's now Wednesday, the 29th of October, and for breakfast brunch, I'm having chicken and rice soup. And it has some nice chunky pieces of chicken, carrots, leeks, onions. Yeah, I think that's all that's in there with some homemade chicken stock. So yes, soup for breakfast. Why not? Wednesday's main meal of the day is a very simple chicken stir fry. The very last of the cooked chicken bits that I found in the freezer, stir fried with the last of the yellow pepper, a bit of onion, a couple of bits of the chicken, and the rice was already cooked and frozen in the freezer. So it's just been stir fried with a little bit of soy sauce and 5-star powder. Very, very simple. Would have looked good with either peas or, what else? Spring onions, but sadly, don't have them, so it's fine. I'll be glad when this challenge is done. So this is Thursday morning's breakfast brunch. I'm having some French toast with my homemade sourdough bread, and I like my French toast savoury, so the egg was mixed up with a little bit of my lean parents, and I'll add a little bit more onto the plate. French toast or eggy bread. So I am about to make my last meal of this week's challenge, and it's going to be a very simple spaghetti with onion, and I'm going to chop up some of the bacon. As you can see, that's three rashers in there. So by the time I cut off the fat and so on and turn it into sort of little lardon style pieces, that is going to be my main meal of the day, and that rounds off my week of eating out of my store cupboard, my fridge, and my 2 freezers. So I double checked, and I think I've already put it on the screen. So I had £11.25 in loose change. I found that 20 pence outside, and I added a couple of coppers, 3 pence worth of coppers. So in total I had 11.48. I think my maths is correct there. So for the whole of October, I spent £11.48. It did not come out of my normal budget. It was just loose change. And yeah, I hope you've seen that my meals are fairly balanced and nutritious. Please remember that is not all I was eating. I was eating little bits of fruit. I've still got the poached pear, tons of poached pears in the freezer. I've still got plenty of the dried fruit and the nuts up there. So I have lots of snacking alternatives, but as you know, I do time restricted eating, and I try not to snack. And if I'm really hungry, I would have had a slice of toast or a piece of my sourdough bread before 5 o'clock at night. But it just depends on what I've been doing, if I've been active during the day or not. So I'll insert a picture or some footage of my meal once it's finished. And that concludes my October challenge. I might even today on Friday the 31st of October, I might bust out my emergency tenner that I keep in my phone case, and I might nip round to the Co-op and get myself one of their nice little hand stretched pizzas just for a wee treat. We shall see. Or it might be good. So we made it all the way to the end of the video. Thank you so much. I do appreciate all the lovely comments and support. And as always, there have been some excellent suggestions and ideas in the comments. So if you do get the chance to read through all the comments and the replies, please do so. We are a very knowledgeable and supportive community here. So thank you so much for all your contributions. and supporting my wee channel. So yeah, November tomorrow, oh my goodness, and no doubt there'll be fireworks this weekend, so if your pets suffer from the fireworks, I do hope they're all right. I'm lucky that Luna doesn't really bother with the firework noise, but we will not be going outside anyway in the dark at night, so she'll be safe enough inside. So stay warm, stay safe, have a lovely weekend, and I will catch up with you again on Monday. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you then. Bye for now.